We are live and direct, and tonight, ooh, coming at ya. Let me bring out my co-host. What up, Canuck?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you.
You sound a little low, man. You back to your little mumble shit.
How's
There we
everybody
go.
doing? Thank you for joining us, helping me put up with this bullshit as usual. I appreciate it. I need all the help I can get.
Oh yeah. So before I bring Reggie out, I was gonna say here. Where's it at? Boom. Let me see if this is the one. Look, I'm not even cutting you off. Ah, you like that? You like that, right?
I was actually going to point that out to you to bring
All
that
right.
out.
So,
Yeah. And you've
so guys,
obviously been busy.
we got an awesome guest. I've had Reggie on Bowling with Bryan way back. And let me tell you something. It's crazy because I just brought him out from his Instagram post and wanted to connect with him through there. And then when he was on the show, I learned so much about him. They say a picture um, says 1,000 words, but there's so many layers to this man that it's absolutely amazing, and he's just so humble about all of the things that he's done and his accomplishments. So I'm really happy that he joined us today. I think this is the only time I've worn a shirt or a hoodie twice in a week because I did rock it earlier, but I could not represent tonight. So without any further ado, Jay, I'm gonna bring him out, brother.
Please do.
What's up? How y'all doing?
What's going on? How are you?
Reggie, what's
Yo,
good?
y'all got me out of retirement, man.
I know. You've been quiet, man. You have been quiet. But listen, for all the people that may not know who you are, why don't you give them a nice little intro?
I'm Reggie with Reggie's Urban Jungle. I specialize in ball python morphs. My main focuses are Desert Ghost Clown projects, Sneaking in the Sunset, Monsoon, and Tri-Stripe. So I'm glad to be here, trying to make living art and educate people and do the best I can for the hobby.
That's a lot. That's a lot of sneaking in there.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a lot of high end sneaking. Well, again,
I got my phone in front of me, so in case I look down, I'm trying to stay up with the chat. So if I look down,
don't worry about that. Listen, half the people that are in the chat, man, don't pay any attention to them, man. They drive us crazy. No, I'm just kidding. I throw the chats up on the screen, so you'll know.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us. I see you, Derek. What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us, buddy. Appreciate
if there's any questions directed towards you, you'll definitely get an opportunity to share. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I was letting them know before you came out that I learned so much about you that I was awestruck, man. Like when I learned who you are, right? Not what you are, but a little bit about who you are. I admire the fact that you are the king to a little princess, and how important that relationship is. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how this whole thing led up into the ball python world before you start sharing some of your best practices?
So like everybody else, started off little, catching snakes, turtles, frogs in the backyard. I was the weird guy in middle school to high school that carried his snakes to every class. And then I went to college, got a degree in early childhood education in zoology. I went to Orlando in 2011, got my dangerous animal handling license, got certified in big cat husbandry, and took an internship and a paid job with Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. I did that for 2.5 years. And then I had my daughter, which I have full time right now. And it's kind of bad practice to have 500-pound tigers and lions with a newborn baby. So I had to put my dream of being an exotic animal trainer on the back burner so I could be a full-time father. I currently work in education for high school right now. And yeah, so that was a quick rundown, but yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
So the Tiger King, when we did it, the Tiger King was hot. I mean, we did
Season 2's out now.
Yeah, it's hot again. It's hot again. I was watching with my wife, and I started thinking about, what type of experience you must have had. So before you got into the whole ball python world, and I know you put a post up not too long ago, right?
Yeah, yep. I tossed it up. I still got all my old work shirts from like 2013, 2012, just hanging. I just wanted to keep it as a keepsake. But like I said back then, I didn't know he would be this famous, because when I worked for him, he was just Joe. He was family to me. So I just looked at him as another family member, not this worldwide. I mean, he was well known back then, but obviously social media, internet, Netflix today blew him up tenfold. So luckily, I have a couple keepsakes from when I worked there. I got a couple YouTube videos I did walking around the park. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures with him at the moment, but there is. He had his own talk show back in the day on the internet. So there is video of me on his talk show chatting with him every now and again. So Joe's my guy, man. I love him.
Do you guys get Netflix in Canada, Jason?
Really?
So the Tiger King was like this show.
Yeah, I'm well aware, and I'm fully up to date, and I've watched season 2. Thank you.
Well, I haven't even watched season 2.
Well, no, I watched season 2, man, and let me tell you, it's crazy because I remember they did a show called Making of a Murderer, and that was like a really good series. Then they came back with a season 2 and like a lot of sequels. To me, it was just blah. Tiger King season 2, man, it's just as good. Has a different spin on it. It keeps you connected. It keeps you wanting more. So it's really interesting, and obviously there will be a season 3.
Absolutely. I think they're gonna hit head on all the big stars of the show or all the big breeders and keep it going for at least 3 or 4 more seasons. Make their money's worth.
They're gonna get their money's worth, and then things are gonna change. I mean, does Joe get out? Does
Well, a lot of people don't know Joe's actually battling aggressive cancer. So even if he does get out, his health is pretty poor. He went in there with poor health, and obviously his condition hasn't gotten any better. So hopefully he can get healthy and get out and still make an impact on the big cat and exotic animal world, because he did a lot of good. As much bad as they show on Netflix, he did just as much good to help the exotic animal community, which is tied in with the reptile hobby. So
unfortunately that doesn't sell. So
it doesn't.
We don't get to see those aspects of things. So speaking about things that don't sell or things that aren't the biggest financial rewards, you said you like to educate people. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I am a high school teacher. Math is my concentration. I do dabble in the science a little bit, but yeah, I like to help kids. I'm a high school basketball coach for girls varsity. Just trying to be a positive male role model for students and kids who need it, because unfortunately, not everyone has great fathers like the men on this show right now, and they just look up for somebody to guide them properly. So that's my job. Definitely not in education for the money, because teachers are not paid as they should be, but they're definitely here to be a positive role model, put them in the right direction, get kids interested in STEM, so that way they can be a better version of themselves.
Amazing. It's amazing. And I mean, to be able to plant those seeds, it's one of the things that, Jason and I, we have a lot of fuckery on this show, and there's a lot of shenanigans, but at the end of the day, we're hoping to educate the newer breeders and keepers, so that way they can be the best versions of themselves and at least be empowered with proper techniques, even though we don't always agree. And whenever we don't agree, I'm right and he's wrong. But other than that, behind all the nonsense, at the end of the day, that's the whole goal of this show, is to educate people. Jason, you have any questions before I take the whole show over? Because I'm in the mood to talk today.
I'm just kind of listening and hearing what Reggie had to say, and then obviously I got to tolerate you, and the more I can put the stats in my favor in terms of our ongoing debate, the better. So.
No, because since I told you that you do most of the talking, at least in the earlier shows, you've been very quiet trying to even it out.
Just working the stats a little, that's all.
So
I've been working the bootleg Monarch project. I sent out a mass.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Clearly, Monarch is the bootleg Ultramel project, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. If you like that,
Reg, come on, Reggie.
I appreciate you, but
would you agree with me that this is a fly hoodie right here?
Absolutely, I like it, man. I wish I had one myself.
All right, so let me ask you this though: which one looks closer to these colors, the Monarch or Ultramel? Thank you.
Kind of looks like
Thank you. Thank you, right there. So, but you are in the Ultramel world. You know what? I don't hate Ultramel, so I want to make that clear. I don't hate it.
Realistically, though, Ultramel and Monarch shouldn't even be compared to one another. Yes, they're similar. They're the positive albino, but honestly, they're not that similar, in my opinion. Ultramel is more of a yellow gold, and Monarch is more of a toffee tan color. So to each is their own, and then some are high quality and some are low quality. So there's great looking Ultramels and great looking Monarchs, but there's also trash of both. So just depending on what line you get into, you can have that debate. But Ultramel is great, Monarch's great, and whichever direction you want to go in, to each is their own. That's the great thing about this hobby. You can have two animals that are similar yet so different at the same time, and just make magic in both directions.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, I know a couple of people out there. Jason from Ancestral, he works with some really, really pretty Ultramel, and I definitely won't debate that one. So you've been doing this ball python thing. I mean, you've been quiet. We need Reggie Reg back. We need little Reg back. Okay.
Yeah, I've been slack ever since school started, getting back into the roll of things after, 18 months off with COVID. It kind of takes all my focus, and then I'm back coaching, and then my daughter is back in school again. So, working 8 to 10 hours, then coaching another 2 to 3 hours, then daddy duties for the rest of the time, and then still trying to maintain a collection of 150 plus takes a lot of toll on you. So I've been trying to sneak in on my social media every now and then. I'm also dealing with I was playing basketball about a month ago, and I got elbowed and I got some torn ligaments in my jaw, so I really haven't been able to speak. So my jaw is just now loosening up, so I can only open it about a half an inch. So I haven't been talking too much, so I'm waiting to get my jaw wired shut actually in a month or so they can correct that issue. So those are everything piles on at once. When it rains, it pours. But I'm definitely trying to get back in action on social media, because I'm letting the people down, man. I'm letting them down.
So I know, first of all, that's how I play ball. I make sure my fouls count.
Absolutely. I wasn't even mad at him. It wasn't even a bad play. It was just an elbow to the jaw. It is what it is. Not the first time.
And as many viewers as we have, I'm sure many of them would like to see me get my jaw wired shut.
I mean, I'm still gonna talk my shit. So
God knows you're at the right height to catch a few elbows.
Wait, you gonna start doing sign language? What you gonna do, man?
I mean, I know a little American sign, man. Just enough.
Look, these guys got offended because I dissed the chats. Look at this, they got offended, man.
I'm not even looking.
So Reggie, obviously you have a lot of people here, a lot of people that support you.
A lot out there for you tonight.
What is it? What is it about Reggie? Besides Reggie, how tall are you? 6'3", 6'4"?
6'3". So funny story, I actually grew 2.5 inches over 2020. So I was 6'1" in 2019, and I just did my little annual checkup, and I am now 6'3.5". So I grew 2.5 inches at the age of 33. So no.
And we're not talking about the hair either, right? We're not talking about
that's without the hair. With the hair, I'm a good 6'9", 6'10". It is, anybody can get dunked on. It is what it is.
You still got them ups?
Well, so with them 2.5 inches came 25 pounds. So I can jump, but gravity is, it's against me right now.
And age is creeping in, man. Age is creeping in.
Father time is undefeated.
Okay, so Jason, basketball is this sport with a little round leather ball, and they dribble it and it goes in the back. Jason doesn't like anything sports related, nothing at all, and he's not shy.
Sports paid for my college, man. I gotta play a little bit.
There you go. So one of the things that we usually do when we have people on this show is we ask you if you could just give us like a day in the life as far as it's pertaining to the snake world.
Hold on. I actually got a chart. I'll be right back. Hold on.
So when he comes back, I think we can go back to explaining to you what basketball is.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
And it sounds like you're not wheezing as much. All right, so Reggie's back.
All right, so I'm actually very OCD about my my cleaning regimen. It's the morning and the evening, so I'll start Monday through Sunday. Monday morning, I do a spot check on every animal in the snake room, and then that evening, I do another spot check for feces, urates, spilled water, all that good stuff. And then I pair my males with my females. Tuesday morning, I do a spot check. Tuesday evening, I do a spot check. I check on all the pairings that I put in, see if there's any locks, anything of that nature. And then back when I was up on game with my YouTube videos, so every morning I do a spot check. Then that evening I would do a spot check. Then I would upload my YouTube videos on Wednesday. Same for Thursday, do a spot check. I would take the males out, check for any locks, anything of that nature, spot check. Then I would feed all the animals that day. I do feed my anything under 500 grams, I feed twice a week. Females, I feed twice a week. And males that are breeding, I feed once a week. And then Friday, spot check morning and evening. Saturdays, once a month or once every 2 months, depending on how bad it is and if I'm breeding or not. I would do an entire tub clean, so new bedding, new water bowl, scrub the tub, disinfected, all of that. And then I would also upload a YouTube video on Saturday. I've been slacking, so ignore the YouTube stuff. Then I would do a water change Sunday morning after I let everything settle down, because I do use mite spray just as a preventative measure when I do a full snake room clean. Then I spray down the tub. So that's what I do. That's my my daily routine.
How much time does it take you to do one of these
full cleans? If I got my music on, it could take all day, so about 8 hours. But if I'm in a rush, I can probably bust it out if I have all my cocoa box broken down and a couple tubs pre-made.
All streamlined and ready to go.
Yeah, I can probably get it done within 3 hours. But you see the 65 behind me. I got another 12 here, another 30 over here, and I got the rats, so I breed I got a 1-5 tier rat rack, so I can have pups and stuff readily available.
So Jason,
you have 150 plus, correct?
Yes, 150 plus.
So you have 150
I got
plus bins to clean.
Jason, hold up before you ask me the next question. So what actually drew me to Reggie was watching him on a live cleaning tubs. So when he says he's cleaning tubs, what I want you to imagine is some like Michael Jackson going on in the background. He's grooving. He's doing the tubs. He's actually like saying what he's doing while he's dancing to Michael Jackson, singing Michael Jackson. So when I saw that, I'm like, who is this cat? And that's actually how I connected with you, Reg. Was on one of your Instagram lives, man. We need that energy back, man. We need it
there, man.
Need it back, brother. I'm sorry about cutting you off, Jason, and that's the last time I'll ever apologize to you again in my life.
Yeah, I was like, it's not going to be the last time you cut me off. That's for sure. What I was saying is, you said you have 150 plus snakes, so I'm sitting here in my head thinking about 3 hours time, 180 minutes, 150 bins. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because so often we talk to people who are getting into it, and we all start somewhere, but who are always I'm going to go here, this is what I'm going to do. And I think so often it's forgotten about just how much time it takes.
Absolutely.
And at 3 hours at 150 bins, you are moving.
Oh, absolutely. I got to twist them. Take one out, got one, put it in, scrub it down. Keep
very limited time per bin. So
absolutely.
Yeah, man. And that's just like you said, you've got your schedule laid out, and that's a rather intense routine. I certainly salute you on that.
I mean, it makes life easier when you have it down to a routine and you know what you do. You're starting on this rack. You got X amount of these bins already clean, so you can take the real nasty ones out that got to get a full scrub and just toss them to the side, put a fresh one in, so it makes it easy. And then ARS, as you know, you got the deli cups, so you can just toss those out, put a fresh one in. I use a 5-gallon bucket of water that's already filled, so I just dip the cup in, toss it. I got another bucket so I can toss the old water, old bedding, and just keep the train
all about
moving.
the buckets. It's
Man, the only time I slow down is when I got a bad song and I gotta press skip. That throws me off a little bit.
Look who's here, man.
Hey, Splash
can you
Pack,
help me get on the show?
Check her out.
Can you help me get her on the show, Reg?
Hey, she worked more than me. For sure, I can try, but she definitely worked more than me.
We got to break that shyness, man. She's putting out some beautiful animals, man. We got to break that shyness.
Man, she got so much heat that don't nobody know about, but that's not my place to speak on.
No, I've seen it in her posts here and there.
She got stuff. She got stuff she ain't even posted yet, but I'm not gonna talk about it.
So let me ask you something. When you mentioned feeding and your regimen, which is it seems like you're very detailed and you stick to your script. And as far as I'm gonna go back to Bryan with an eye over here, just for the record, I have at least, let me see, a third player from my basketball program is in the NBA. You don't want me to embarrass your military ass on the court, all right? Don't sleep on the little midget, homie.
I so want to watch you play basketball, Bryan.
I want to watch you play anything, backgammon. I mean, anything.
But I am just dying.
I want to watch you play anything. I want to see you hit the little birdie with the racket.
Sports whatsoever, but I would sit down for at least.
So what I've been thinking about doing was I want to do like a charity field event day for like one of the Tinleys or Arlingtons, and have like a charity basketball game, softball game, flag football, volleyball, and just earn some money for U.S. Arc, and everybody can have fun. A little competition, and you see all the people we know through social media get together and make a fool of themselves and have fun and just earn some money. I don't drink. People get drunk. Then people can sell food out there, and
you know what? That's it. Speaking into existence, man.
Teams and have their logos on the jerseys and stuff, man. So I think that would be a cool idea. So
Reg, you did it, man. That's it. You did it. You did it, Reg. You got it going. Now we got to follow up on it, man.
For sure.
We just gotta wait until after. We gotta wait until after your jaw is not wired anymore.
Man, hey, look, I got 2 men's hoop leagues. I'm in after it gets wired. Just can't get hit.
I feel you. You gotta wear the mask. You gotta have the mask.
Football helmet.
So Reg, what are you feeding? You feeding live? You feeding frozen? You feeding Reg? You feeding?
I've only ever fed live. It's easier for me. With as many animals as I have, if one doesn't eat, I got a rat rack. I can toss them in. Normally with frozen thawed, you can't reuse them. And if you don't have a garbage disposal snake, then it's just kind of waste of money. So I find it easier just to use live. I do feed rats. I have a couple picky eaters that I feed mice and African soft furs that eventually go back to rats. So I've never had an issue with any mousers or soft fur eaters that transition back over to rats. So yeah, so I feed live and it's easier for me. And if, like I said, if they don't eat it, I give it to another snake. If they don't eat it, I toss it back in the rat rack until it's next time to feed.
Oh, sorry about that. Now, one thing I do is have these little pudgy fat fingers that hit all these buttons all at once. So you feed live, I dig it, especially I think when you get to a larger collection, it's definitely a plight for me as I don't breed my own rodents. So are you breeding your own rodents, or do you have?
I am breeding on a very, very small scale. I have about 10 breeder females now that the hatching season is over. I use those females to feed my star hatchlings that, you got to get up to size, feed every 3 to 4 days. But other than that, I have a great rat guy. His name is William from Garland Exotics out in Charlotte, Michigan. And he provides me with all my smalls and weans. So I go to him about once a week, and he keeps the brother going, man. He makes my life easier because I don't have enough space to breed. What you need, 2 breeder female rats per snake in your collection to feed them properly how you want to, and I just don't have that space right now. So
brother, man, make sure you send him a nice Christmas gift because that is a real good plug to have.
It's a blessing, and his prices are phenomenal. So, because the local pet shop here, man, they're charging $16 per small rat. Because they're the only one within 30, 40 minutes. So I drive that 45 to an hour to go get my rats because I'll be broke.
Oh, I don't feel bad for you. I used to be an hour and 15 minutes, and I've been with the same breeder for a few years, but I moved, and now that's a 7-hour round trip ride, and I still take it.
That's
So,
loyalty though, man. Like same for him. Like I'm loyal, man. I've been going to him for at least 7 years, and he's never steered me wrong, man. He's kept
and
me in his places,
he, you know what he told me? He said, Brian, I wouldn't do the ride for you.
It's
I
okay, man. You can't expect yourself out of others, man. So it is what it is.
But the thing is, like, it's just like you said.
That's what I'm saying.
He definitely has always treated me right, so that means a lot, and loyalty does go a long way. So I want to shout out Hugh from H&M Exotics. I'm always challenging people not to cut their eggs, and we'll get to that in a second. I want to see what you do. And he actually let them pip. It went a long time. He was incubating at a little bit of a lower temperature. But shout out, not just because your babies are crawling out, but because you did it. You had the patience. You held on. All right. And look at those beautiful babies, and you're going to see the appetites they have. So, Reg, with that said, cut, pip, let them come out on their own. What are you doing?
I'm nosy as hell. I'm cutting. No, I only say that because this year my Desert Ghost Clown clutch that proved out triple hit. I had the the Super Pastel Hypo Clown hit DG male was wrapped around his umbilicus, so I had to go in there and untangle him. And then I had the Pastel Clown double hit didn't have a tooth, so luckily I did cut. We joke about being nosy and being impatient, but there are many times that the snake would drown in the embryonic fluid and suffocate and not be able to get out. So I do cut, but I do like to wait for a couple pips just to make sure that it's the right time and I'm not going early, because I had I had 2 clutches pip on day 45, and I also had 1 pip on day 62. So, and they were in the same spot in the incubator, so it could be many days apart. But I am team cut.
All right, so John Python is saying what a great response. And I just want to remind Jim and Angie that was my compromise, is to let a few pip first if you are going to cut. That way you at least know the time is right and you don't pre-cut. I'm still anti-cut. But that's the compromise right there. So we got a question for you from Q. Where he wants to know, where do you think you want to be in breeding in 10 years?
What up, Q, my boy? That's my brother, man. But in 10 years, hopefully I'm doing it full time. I gave myself 3 years to be full time. The last 2 seasons I've made more breeding than I have in both my other full time jobs. So if I can do that consistently for 2 or 3 more years to see how the market is going, then I'll have enough confidence with my breeding program over here to go full time. Each year my clutches are getting better, and the quality of the product is getting better. So I don't doubt that I'll be able to make the money, but we are dealing with live animals. One malfunction in the incubator, your entire season could, be gone if you don't have the proper precautions or backup. Like this year I had
29. Just because.
Yeah, exactly. I had 2 clutches a year go full term. All the babies came out the egg, and they all died as soon as like two days after they came out the egg. So
not to cut you off, but back to our cutting. The last 2 clutches, and I was just talking to Ty about this recently. The last 2 clutches that came out for me, both at the same time, I lost 4 babies, and all 4 of them were tangled umbilicuses. And I got to be honest, man, they were tangled tighter than I've ever seen before. And even after they had passed away, I was not able to untangle it without tearing the umbilicus. Why did 3 of one clutch and 1 of the other clutch get tangled? One of them had already pipped out. Another one I opened up had pipped out. Sometimes it's a good thing to cut ahead. Sometimes it's better to leave it. Now,
I want to ask you, Jason, do you think that there is any type of explanation as to why something like that happens, or is this just more?
Oh, I'm sure there's an explanation. There's got to be. I just don't know what it is, and I'm not educated enough to know what caused it in this case. But do I believe in cause and effect and scientific, or the science behind it? 100%. there's something that's happened, especially I believe in this case of 3 out of 5 eggs. And it was an expensive loss, let's say, but why did it happen? I don't know. Maybe somebody out there knows, and they haven't shared it with us.
If you don't know, there's probably no reason to have you on this show if you can't contribute anything.
Okay. All right.
All right. So I think we got an awesome question here from Wiz.
Notice that he doesn't answer the question though.
What's going on with your Mount Rushmore? Top 4 genes, recessive, incomplete dom, etc., etc.
The 4 genes I'm working with right now, my Mount Rushmore is Desert Ghost, obviously. I'm just getting heavy into the Sunset, Monsoon, and Tri-Stripe. I mean, I have a lot of Clown, but that's the Godfather, so I'm not going to toss that on there. Clown's above everybody right now, but all my projects are tied in with Desert Ghost. I just went real heavy on Sunset female or Het Sunset females, double Het Sunset females. Monsoon, I got a pair of Het Monsoons that'll be breeding this year, and Tri-Stripe, I'm heavy in Tri-Stripe as well. So, but the side one, like 5th and a 6th, I'm real heavy in special. I got a super special female that I bred to my Leopard Clown, gave me a nice clutch. I just picked up an Inchy special Het Desert Ghost male, and I have just bought a special Het Pied breeder male that I'm gonna run to a couple. So I'm trying to get special into all of it. I really want to get special into the Sunset project and see what I can do with that, and just try and work Sunset.
Without a doubt, my favorite recessive is Tri-Stripe, and I can't wait to see what happens with it more so in the future. But that is without a doubt my favorite recessive. And for those of you that love the Desert Ghost Tri-Stripe's only going for about 30 G's right now.
This is my boy that I hatched out. There was some debate because he's about a 60-40. So his whole back half looks like a Het. His whole top half is Tri-Stripe. So he's literally a 50-50 snake, but I do believe him to be 100% Het Tri-Stripe. He came from a Het-to-Het pairing. This year I actually haven't changed.
I've seen that beautiful thing before. You brought him out on Ballin' with Bryan, and that's why I say, guys, if you did not see that episode, the link is down below. That was 40. Where we at with Ballin' with Bryan? We're 2 shows behind, so that was about 40 shows ago, guys. I got this man to be on the show and crush it. All right, so Jason, I'm gonna ask you the same question. What's your Mount Rushmore?
Well, I'm working with the Ultramel. Obviously, the Clown's in there. Hypo. And fills it out with Enhancer.
All right, so I got Hypo. I got Enhancer. Did you say Clown and Ultramel?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was good though. I like it. You held on. All right. I don't
things out with you.
I like it better. I like it better when you lose your train of thought. So Reggie, what's your advice for new coming breeders that want to be in the game for a long time and be successful?
Research. Find a mentor that you can relate to, that's willing to put in the time. I know everyone is busy with life, but there's always somebody out there who knows a little bit more than you that's willing to help you along your journey. Know what projects you want to be in. Like most people, when I started out with Scatterbrain, I was just buying to buy because I was excited. I didn't realize how many morphs there was. I didn't take enough time to dive deep into specific projects. So the last couple years, I've been revamping my collection so I can be more project specific. So find what projects you want to do. Focus on those projects, but also know that your initial idea of that project is going to change later on down the road. So you have to have some flexibility in your projects. Personally, I think go females first. If you have solid females, you can buy a powerhouse male, get to where you need to be, buy a powerhouse male that you can work in 2 or 3 different projects if you don't have a lot of money. Mentor, research, and buy with a purpose. Because I think I've had maybe 500 snakes in my lifetime, and I'm only using 150 of them because the other
Buy with
350
purpose.
had no purpose.
Can't argue any of that. Can't argue any of that at all. Leviathan Snake saying that they love the Sunset Project. Speaking about bowling with Bryan, they were on the episode last night, guys. If you did not see it, go check it out. One of the snakes they did share was a sunset leopard, and that thing was bananas. They have a lot of funky stuff coming down the pike. So if you missed yesterday's episode of Bowling with Bryan, you definitely have to catch it. And Sean is also trying to get into Sunset. Oddly enough, I am not the biggest fan of Sunset, but when I saw that Sunset Leopard last night, it kind of definitely had me reconsidering things.
I just got a yellow belly leopard sunset female from Brock at Tinley. So I snagged that from him. Then I also picked up.
If I recall correctly, I think their Sunset came from Brock as well.
Yep, and then I also got a inchy double head Sunset Pied female picked up in a trade. So pretty exciting.
So you mentioned Desert Ghost. Jason mentioned Enhancer, right? So what are the thoughts here? First of all, I appreciate both of them. This isn't even like an Ultra Male Monarch thing for me, where I can say I like one better than the other. I think I personally think that they're different. What do you think they are?
In my opinion, it's lesser butter. One is just a better version of the next one. Calico Sugar, same thing. I think one was maybe lime bred for higher quality, and you stick with it. They're compatible. You can interchange them, But I know people like to stick with the names like Coral Glow Banana. Same thing. You just want to stick with it. So I just think it's specific line breeding, and I've seen some great enhancers, but I've also seen some phenomenal Desert Ghosts. And me personally, I have Desert Ghosts, so that's what I'm gonna stick with. But they are interchangeable. So if I see a nice enhancer or head enhancer animal, it won't keep me from buying it because I know I can mix it in with what I have in my collection.
Jason, it's the Maple Desert Ghost, right? So I was correct. Leviathan Snakes did pick up their Leopard Sunset Girl and their Sunset Male from Brock.
Brock got some nice stuff, man. He got a Sunset Head Hypo I want to get to plug in with my Pastel Desert Ghost Clown Head Hypo female so I can make visual hypo triple heads.
All right, so guys, if you're watching, Reggie is dropping gems. Please, it's worth a like. That's it. Give the man a like. Don't give it to me. Definitely don't give it to Jason. But give that like to Reggie, all right? So make sure you hit that like button right now. Right now. So, Reggie, there's a question that we ask, and I know I believe it was K-Town that brought it up earlier, a little too early in the show. Papa Probe.
I'm a popper.
All right, you're a popper. Have you probed?
I mean, I have a probe kit as well, just for those difficult animals, because some of them males like to keep it tucked in tight, man.
So for those males that keep it tucked in tight, what we doing? KY or Vaseline?
I like to spit on it, man. Natural. No, just playing back with my jaw. We Vaseline over here, man. We Vaseline.
Oh man! All right, so Jason gets this one. The funny thing is that you're probably
we're gonna get a tally going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how many people because we're gonna have like a.
Well, yeah, no, I don't want it influenced either way, but I definitely want to have a tally that we're aware of who's winning.
More people are KY, just for the record. That's it, just for the record. And technically, that answer wouldn't even qualify for Vaseline because he said spit first, which has become a third option, even though it's never offered. So that you're literally like a few people have said it as well. We don't offer it, and they're like.
I mean, honestly, if you do the job right, you don't need none of the three. But
you guys are all sick. You guys are all sick. All right. So, do you keep any other species of snakes? Dr. Mike from Balls of Fury wants to know: do you keep any other species of snakes other than ball pythons?
Yes, I actually keep elephant trunk snakes or Javan fowl snakes. It's a fully aquatic snake from Asia. They're brackish, some saltwater, some fresh, depending on which one you go with. There's also a black and white one, but I do work with them. They are a very difficult species to work with because 99.9% of them are imported and they come in with parasites and fungus. So if you're not also very into fish tanks and keeping water parameters correct, you will lose them. But as of right now, I've successfully kept them alive on my third try for 2.5 years now. So not, I think they've maybe been bred in captivity once back in the early 90s, but a lot of gravid females come in and have captive born from a wild caught, but not too many people have bred in captivity, if any, and it's a project that I like. Not a lot of people are in it. It's awesome to see a snake catch a fish and swim around underwater, and so I do keep elephant trunk snakes.
So that's interesting because on Bowling with Bryan, when we did that almost 40 weeks ago or 40 weeks ago, Elliot, who congratulations to Elliot, he's like the biggest reptile snake supporter, ball python
Oh
supporter.
man, he's that dude for sure.
Without a ball python, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like the biggest supporter out there. God, he kept going at me in the comments that episode, wanting you to talk about it. He just kept going. I want to know about the elephant snakes. I want to know about the elephant snakes.
I've been slacking on my videos. I think I was going strong for like maybe 3 or 4 months, and then life happened, put them on the back burner. But I'm definitely gonna get a video out once I start get the YouTube videos back rolling. I'm gonna get some elephant trunk videos out there.
There he goes, hiding in the cut. We know you there, Elliot. We know you there. We know you there, hiding in the cut. So Chino says that some do come in pregnant, but that one of his buddies actually had some captive born ones. So that's interesting.
Captive born or captive bred?
So
I know that a lot of females come in gravid and they're captive born, but I don't think too many people are actually breeding and getting them in captivity. So if they're captive bred, then I need to get in contact with them. Huh?
Yeah. He said captive born and that some come in pregnant. So I would think that he's saying born.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
So I need to get in contact with his buddy then, because I'm struggling. Well, mine aren't up to breeding size, obviously, but
I believe he said they're native to Asia.
Yep, Asia and India.
India's in Asia, Reggie. Come on, man.
You know what I meant. Different coast.
Well, I know you said that he was a math teacher.
I'm a math guy. I don't like geography.
Okay, like I would expect that from Jason, but come on.
All right, can't just go by his cover, baby. I ain't perfect.
So you're in Michigan, and I think that there's advantages to that. You have you ever been to Brian Barczyk's spot, the Reptarium?
I'm slacking, man. I'm only 45 minutes away, and I have yet to go. Every time I schedule a visit, he's always going out on business, and I have a tight schedule myself. So I'm trying to line it up to where he's there. I've talked to him a few times on the phone, and they put a couple of my videos on his channel. So I'm trying to get up there when he's there. So I have been slacking, but I am only about 45 minutes away, and I'm only about an hour away from Brad Bowler too.
All right, so I would have, wow. I guess it's similar to those that live in New York City and have never done, the Empire State Building. Now they can't even do the Twin Towers, Statue of Liberty. So I guess when we take it for granted that we're so close, and we'll get to it another day. So I could definitely appreciate that. Now, what about EMU? Have you been able to go to Eastern Michigan University yet?
So that's actually only about 10 minutes away from the school that I work at. Down the street. They just hit me up on Instagram, so we're in contact now. So I'm trying to get my snake shed collection up so I can get it out there so they can do their genetic testing and all that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool visit, especially with when we're talking about stuff like Desert Ghost and Enhancer. She's proven this stuff out, so that's something that we should definitely do. Guys, just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hit the subscribe button. We get to 1,000 subscribers. We have at least 10 snakes to give away. And if we get to 1,250 subscribers by Valentine's Day, we have a pair of Batman makers that were donated by our sponsor for this show, DTMG pythons. So make it happen. Make it happen. Let's go. All right, Reg. So what are some of the I wish I would have known for those breeders and keepers that are watching here now? So you already said what you advise they do, research this and that. But what do you wish you would have known so you would not have made those mistakes?
I'm a very impatient person, but this is a hobby that I really like. So I, you wouldn't think an impatient person would be okay waiting 2 to 5 years to breed a snake, but the process of growing them up is nice. So I wish I would have known how to control my patience earlier, but this hobby has taught me that. So and people don't understand how much equipment costs from the beginning. Even though you look it up, you don't realize how much it adds up. The more babies you get, the more racks you got to buy, how much bedding costs, weekly rat bills. If you breed rats, the cost of keeping the rats, your water bill goes up, your electricity goes up. So just the overall financial investment and time investment that you have to put in, because even if you come home from an 8 to 10 hour long day, which maybe not long to some, but it's long for me, you got to come home and still clean all these animals because they didn't ask to be kept in these tubs. They didn't ask to not be, be bred. So you got to make sure you keep them up. They are live animals. You got to care for each individual animal. And if you get too, like I was at too many at one point, so I had to reduce my collection because it wasn't fun anymore. So
Oh, can you hear what he just said, people? It is so easy to get that constriction addiction, and before you know it, it's unmanageable. Okay? Or big key phrase there, not fun anymore. Okay? I just, if there's only one thing that resonates from this entire episode, let it be that. If it's not fun, if you've lost your passion, if it gets unmanageable, get out. Okay? Get out, because they're living animals and they deserve to be maintained properly. And that's one of the biggest frustrations. This week alone, in the last 7 days, I can name 4 people, and I won't do that because I always talk about, you see all these beautiful stickers, which I don't have yours, Reggie, that you said you was going to hook me up with.
I got them all right here for you. I'm about to, when I send you this new hoodie, I'm going to send the stickers with it.
All right. So with that said, guys.
I do have one more to add, though.
Go ahead.
Keeping track of the financials from the beginning, even if you're just a hobbyist, eventually you might want it to turn into an actual business or a part-time business. But I think it's good to keep track of your initial costs, when you break even, if you're in the hole, just in case you do want to get your LLC and you be able to write all this stuff off and pay your taxes properly, man, because it'll creep up on you now with the stuff they're doing with PayPal and Cash App and all that. So I think keeping track of your finances is a good idea. And even for simple breeding, just keeping records of your clutches, what pairing made what, how many eggs, all that good stuff that we do in our minds, but we can't, like in my first years, I know I can't go back and say these were the parents of my first 3 clutches.
Exactly. You might remember this season, but you ain't going to remember 7, 8 seasons back.
So now I have a system. I had a friend create some software for me that I use that has saved my life. I also have it physically written down in case my computer crashes. I got a big giant erase board in the hallway that's too big to fit in the snake room. So I have 3. I pretty much copy the same thing 3 times, 3 different ways, but I'll always have the information I need. And I think record keeping is important, because I got maybe 30 normals back there that all look the damn same.
Hear that, Hardy?
I was gonna say the same thing. I wonder if Hardy is if Dave Hardy's with us. Man, he doesn't believe in record keeping. But Jason, when you get a chance, I mean, if you could take this one, because Keys is making a good point, or you can't afford to feed them properly as your collection grows. And Jason and I have discussed this many times. You're not going to take it, Jay?
What am I taking? Or you can't afford to feed them properly?
How easily that spirals and becomes. I mean, today.
Man.
Go ahead.
Talk to anybody that got into ball pythons, and 9 times out of 10, they're up to 20 within their first year, right? It's 1, 5, 10, 15, 30. Next thing you know, and here's the thing, right? You get one animal and you're like, okay, this is the routine. This is how I take care of it. And then you get 2. And moving into 2, it's a little bit of a change. But, you've already said you buy an extra water bowl, you buy an da-da-da. And then 3, well, what was 2? 3 was easy. And next thing you know, now you're like I said, 30, 40. And now, how long does it take to change 150 water bowls? I mean, it's just a water bowl.
Exactly.
So
every time I tell my wife that we got another free snake, she just gives me the dirtiest look. And she's like, oh, and that's another one you have to feed. All right. And I think that's a big tip right there. Think about it. It's depending on the size. You heard Reggie's regimen. Depending on the size is how often you have to feed them. For me, I go on a 7-hour round trek to pick up a month's supply at a time. At 100+ snakes, just multiply how many rodents I need a month. So every one mount, okay, adds up to so many feedings a month, guys. So keep that in mind. That was a good one, Keys. Thank you for that, brother. All right, so Reggie, we're going to be breeding full time, right? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do differently, or do you not think that you'll be doing anything differently as a full-time breeder?
I think as a full-time breeder, I don't have an ultrasound yet, so I would like to invest in an ultrasound to streamline the process, not overwork my males, not stress out females that aren't ready to breed. So I think that's going to be one of my near investments in the future, just so I can minimize the interaction with my animals or, to one another. Because I have a couple males here that are breeding 5 or 6 females, and I don't want to waste, 5 or 6 pairings on females that aren't going to go. So I would definitely use or, invest in a ultrasound machine. And then I think I'm going to break my year into 2 seasons because I do breed year round. Obviously, most of my clutches are heavier during the natural breeding season. So from October to April, that's when, most of my stuff is going or whatever. But I do breed year round. So I think I would break it into 2 different breeding seasons because right now, that's kind of what I'm doing. Half my females are laying between January and June. The other half are between July and December. So I would do that. And I have a good system for myself. I have a manageable collection for me. I do all my stuff myself. My daughter helps when she wants to. I'm kind of picky on that because I like to look at each individual animal when I open that tub. I know what it looks like. I know what's right, what's wrong. I can give a quick glance and know if there's an issue. So I like to personally look at every one of my animals every day. But I like my system, man. I come in, I have fun. It's my Zen den. Even if I got to clean 150 tubs, I got my music going. I can relax. I can think about other choices in life. But I don't think I'll do much different. Invest in a ultrasound machine and designate half and half for breeding. So that way I can have product and babies throughout the year and have Christmas 12 months out the year.
Beautiful. Now we've seen you. You're back on your, you're on your Tribe Called Quest. You're on your world tour with the shows. How's that going, and where will we see you in the future at which shows?
So now Tinley used to be a staple, or Tinley is always a staple. Both Tinleys, I'll be there. I'm only 2.5, 3 hours away from Tinley, so that's a must. And then Splash Pack Reptiles convinced me to go to Daytona this year. Absolutely loved it. So that's going to make the annual calendar trip. So every year I'm going to hit Daytona now. And then I'm going to make one of the Arlingtons every year. Well, I don't know if it's going to be the early one or the late one, but I'm going to try and get out there at least to one every year. And then I want to, is it Pomona? I want to hit Pomona at least once.
Pomona's coming up.
I want to get to the West Coast, man. I haven't been able to get to the West Coast. There's a few shows in New York or PA that I want to tap into. So, I want to make like you said, I want to make the tour, man. I was supposed to do all of that in 2019 and it screwed me over. Like I was supposed to take a trip to, visit Ozzy. I was supposed to go visit Garrick. I was supposed to, I think the White Plains show in New York. I was gonna, come up there and do that, meet a couple breeders. I've been to the Toronto show. I was gonna go back to that one, but COVID shut the border down. That's only a 4.5 hour drive for me from Michigan, so I can, drive to Canada, hit that show.
Jason never even been to the Toronto show.
I mean, I think the one I went to it was the pet/reptile show. So they had cats and dogs and giant rabbits there, and
it gets a little crazy.
Yeah, so it was pretty fun, and then get to meet all my Canadian brethren. I think that show actually put me on bigger than Tenley. Hanging out with Billy and the crew and getting to meet everybody. Oh, my daughter said hi. What's up, Nova? Daddy loves you. My #1 star. But yeah, so I definitely want to get back to Canada and meet with everybody and have fun with travel, man.
The border's open again.
It is if you have the vaccine.
If you have the vaccine and if you're not worried about the variant, because they got the variant in Canada now.
Man, let me not speak on it, but I'm going to be taking a trip to Canada here shortly.
So, yeah, it's so funny. We had I'm by the border too, but I'm on the New York side of Canada. And I had a couple of Canadians come in to present their company the other day, and I love it because I didn't know this meeting was happening. It got dumped on me, and I'm like, wait, why do I get the Canadian meeting? Because of the variant? Like, what's going on? What's going on?
And then it depends on which variant you talking about. There's about 6 different ones out there now, so.
No, we up to let me see. There's only 4. They skipped 2 letters, and they're on Omicron. There's only 14 letters left in the alphabet. So I was asking and wondering, well, what are we gonna start naming them after we go through the entire Greek alphabet? So I chose that we go through, like, we start with original hip hop artists. And we start naming them.
It's about as many variances as there are ball python marks right now. We're gonna start combining them here. We're gonna have double recessive COVID out here in a minute, man.
Oh, boy. So listen, Pomona is next month. It's at the end of next month.
I'm probably not gonna be able to make that one. I planned poorly and spent a lot of money on snakes. So I have a bad habit of selling snakes and buying snakes with that money that I sold the snakes with. So.
Wow, so Jason has a new AKA. We're going to call him the COVID creator.
Wow.
Rumor has it Jason's to blame for COVID here in Canada.
Let me mind my own goddamn business.
All right, so this is a great question for Jason and for Reggie. So we'll start with you, Reggie. Who's your favorite basketball team and player?
The Lakers by default, and LeBron James, King, the greatest of all time, is my favorite basketball player. Call me a bandwagoner, but wherever he goes, I go. I follow him.
Wow. So you see,
yes, he's better than Michael Jordan.
All right. So here's the thing. Number one, I'm a bum Knicks fan, and I'll die a bum Knicks fan. They won their last chip. I was swimming in my dad's, area, and that was the year before I was born, and I've never seen a chip. I'm all right. I got a finger roll off of Ewan, but I'm with you on LBJ. I say it, I argue it, I debate it, I get statistical.
Absolutely.
Don't
get me wrong, though. Jordan is more exciting to watch if you need a scorer, but for an all-around player, LeBron is better, but you really can't compare the two because Jordan will give you 60, but LeBron will give you 60 with 10 rebounds and 10 assists and less turnovers.
Wait, and you didn't mention defense.
And he's a better defender. He can defend 1 through 5. Jordan can lock up 2 through 3, maybe undersized 4s. But LeBron can legitimately hold and play 1 through 5.
Wait. I'm sorry. You was doing good. I didn't see the second half of Shamir's comment. Let me take that down. I love having the power not to put all these MJ people. All of you people that are stuck on Jordan being the greatest of all time are like saying Babe Ruth was the greatest of all time. You just can't let it go.
And they're from different eras too, though. Like, we can't compare the eras because if I'm being real and I say it and get hated on, but Michael Jordan was just DeMar DeRozan back in the day. Overly athletic for his size and position, had a good mid-range jumper. The mentality is different, but
horrible actor. Horrible. I'm gonna give Jordan that one because Jordan's Space Jam was way better than LeBron. So
hey, we're not talking about his acting, okay? We're talking about his on-court performance.
LeBron might be the best in Space Jam.
He wasn't, because Jordan was that man in Space Jam.
Yeah, I can't. That Space Jam hurt me. I tried watching it with Samson, and it was rough, man.
I watched it to support the cause. That was about it.
That was it. That's it. We actually watched the first one as a prelude, so that was pretty cool. All right, so you mentioned your daughter. Do you see, especially if you do this down the road, full time, do you see your daughter joining that effort? Do you encourage it, or is it like what however the cards may lay?
How it may lay. She loves being in here with me. She gravitates towards the baby rats more than anything. She's the first one. Hey, Daddy, can I hold a rat? And so the one she's holding is always the last one to be fed off. But she likes being in here. It's just a presence thing. We like being around each other. I don't know if she's going to take over the business per se, if I do get it to the point where it is a business, but she's definitely going to be involved with it. She loves being on my YouTube videos. All of her science projects at school are about the snakes and animals that we have here. She talks about it. She's my #1 promoter. She gets mad when I get new Reggie's Urban Jungle gear and she doesn't have a miniature version of it so we can match. So
come on, man. What's wrong with you?
And I appreciate her.
That's supposed to be step #1. And I love the fact that she's doing it in school. Samson had a science project and he did it on the epidermis. And he brought in one of the boas sheds because they're so massive. But it was pretty cool that he did that. It'd be nice if he ever finished the YouTube video on it. Cough, cough.
Yeah, so Nova did one. So I had a lavender albino black pastel female. She was gravid and she passed the very next day. And that was Nova's favorite snake. And her science project was on how this snake died. To me, it's like, it's a part of the hobby. It happens. But she's like, oh, my daddy killed this snake at home. And I'm like, well, we didn't kill it. We don't know what happened. And the teacher's like, I hear you're killing snakes. I'm like, that's not what it is. The issue with her being gravid and the internals. But Daddy, remember the ghost snake died. And I'm like, can you tell a different story? Okay. Not over here.
That's a tough one. I mean, this one didn't even do well.
Snake, so I understand why she's attracted to it.
Samson's walking the dogs right now. He wasn't too happy when he lost his first egg, and we were actually discussing it on the show. And he started texting me to stop talking about it and to stop laughing and joking, and I had to apologize for that. So I definitely dig that. So Patrick from Macomorph saying, Reggie, your merch is awesome. I will attest to that. I mean, this is something that I think when I see a lot of people on your page that wear your gear, you even have a lot of people that are supporting and rocking your gear that are not snakes.
A lot of people don't even, so most people who buy it don't even know I breed snakes. They think I'm like some kind of off-brand rap group or something. They just like how the logo looks.
I think that's what it is. I think you just crushed it. And I never realized that you had the feline. I was
just looking at that.
So this is the velour. So I got the same one he got on, or this is the velour with embroidered. I just got it sampled today. So I try to go outside the box and try new things all the time. And yeah, so I try to be creative. I'm coming out with more stuff for the women. Like I do skirts, I do boy shorts. I even had requests for thongs. I do dresses. I just did pencil skirts. I got sports bras. Do pajamas. Like anything that can be made, I've probably made it.
You can slap a logo on it. You're there.
Hey, put Reggie's Herbal Jungle on it, and people buy it. So, but a lot of stuff I just make for myself.
I saw you and your mom rocking a matching outfit. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it was your mother.
Oh yeah, black don't crack, baby.
Black don't crack. So speaking about your gear, A-Town Marie wants to know, where can we get some?
So I am slacking. I don't have a website for it. Most of the people who get my stuff, you just send me an inbox. You tell me the color, size, the item. I tell you a price, and I make it. I make all of my own gear. I just found someone who does someone who does embroidering. So now I can get items embroidered. I just got a sample bucket hat done. No, Joe's not getting any of my thongs. I don't play those racing games. I love Joe, but I don't play those games. But no, if you want to, if you just inbox me on Instagram, Facebook, I can get in contact.
What is that, velvet?
Hey, I got a royal blue and white one I just did. I just got a red and black bucket hat sampled. So I'm trying to get it for everybody, man. I got vests, tank tops, hoodies, you name it.
You already know what I've been holding out for, and I'm very excited. It's back in the mix, man.
Yes,
very excited. It's back in the mix. So Reggie, we cracked that hour, man. And one of the things Jason and I always say is that the greatest gift that you can give anyone is the gift of time. And you have given us an amazing gift today in gifting us your time and dropping all those jewels. Is there anything that you would like to share before we sign off?
I just appreciate everybody in the hobby. I know I spoke on a few podcasts ago. I was in a state of depression and anxiety, and people in the hobby helped me out in that, and the animals, and just the consistent kindness, and people checking on me because they noticed my social media presence wasn't there. So I just appreciate everybody in the hobby, and a lot of people in this hobby. I don't have a lot of friends, but I do call people in this hobby friends and family. So I just want to say thank you to everybody out there who support me, and then my non-reptile people who are on here supporting me as well. I appreciate all of y'all, and I love the hobby, man. There's a favor for every person in this hobby for this for all the morphs and combinations, and people are great, man. I love the support, man. Everybody's not for everybody in this hobby, but there's enough to keep you positive, man. People are gonna hate on you regardless of how great you are, but there's more people that got your back, and so I just love it, man. I love the presence in the hobby, and it's getting better every single year, man.
Well, I think you hit it. Everybody's not for everybody, but there's somebody for everybody in this hobby.
Absolutely.
So, my brother, thank you so much. Jason, anything before we sign off?
Make sure you check out his Instagram, guys. There's a lot of really cool shit there. I've just been kind of glancing through everything, and I like it, man. A lot of dope shit.
I'm getting better on TikTok, too. I've been making TikToks.
Leave the TikTok for your daughter, man. Listen, all of Reggie's info is in the video description. Please go subscribe to his channel. Maybe if that channel gets more subscriptions, we'll get more of Reggie. And for those of you that don't know, there's a little Reggie, and that's what I want to see. I want little Reggie back, okay? We want little Reggie back.
Got you.
For all of our viewers, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.
All right, you guys make us want to come back. This is episode 50, guys. 2 more shows, and we got our 1-year anniversary. And I didn't divorce this jackass. So I want to thank all of you for joining us and being here. Reggie, you rock, brother. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, my man.
Appreciate it,
man.